Welcome everybody, Red Arrow 23 here. We got another addition to the playbook. Today we're going to be adding a green court. We're going to be doing the core rush. So let's boom this beach. Let's check out two touch. He's going to show us the core rush. We're just going to go normal speed. I think we'll take it single speed. It's only 2 minutes. And then we'll break it down from there. We'll speed it up a little bit for the walk actually. So here we go, just doing a flare land to the left hand side. You can do a core rush straight up the middle, and we might do that in a separate video. But if you have taken out the bottom 4 rocket launchers on the left hand side, plus the mortars or whatever were protecting these cells, you can collect a bunch of cells and then makes the core rush a lot more manageable for your GBE. So let's have a look. We did lose the delay on the left hand rocket launcher, that's fine. And we're just moving on in towards the core now. And flaring into that spot with the double smoke. We're going to slow it down into half speed. Just see these shocks. And critters on the left hand side to distract that rocket launcher. A little bit slow, or are we alright on that? Second lot of critters. Boom, we're fine. Great hit from 2 touch, and he's even got 3rd critters, but the shocks are going to start running out. Did some massive damage on this green court, which probably has about just under 2.2 mil. So great hit from 2 touch. So let's have a look. We're going to dissect it a little bit more this time around. Hopefully it's given you an idea of how many smokes and things you're going to need. If you do have a mortar sort of further out or machine gun further on the beach, you will need to smoke the initial part. You'll see that 2 touch is going to use a flare landing. You could do a flag landing very low, but because some of these cells are gone, they're going to wander a bit and might go into the sniper tower range. So a flare landing is obviously a little bit safer. But note that when you do that flare landing, you want to make sure you land your Zukas a little bit further out if you want to bring that hero. Got a little bit lucky with Brick turning up late for work all the way on the other side and only got hit once by the sniper tower. She could have gone bye-byes right then, and that would have been disappointing. But here we go, just flaring into the left-hand side, and all we're trying to do is make sure we're out of range of all the sniper towers, the rocket launchers, and because it's the first core hit, I believe, yeah, first core hit on this green court, we don't want to take all the cells, all the available cells, so we definitely want to leave some of them, and he's going to be flaring in. So once you've taken out a bunch of cells, you probably want to have a number in your head. It depends on how many shocks and critters that you're going to be using at the core, and obviously flares and everything else. But you should have a number in your head of what you want to get up to, or you know that you need to eat a certain amount of cells, however you want to do it. And you can do this clearing from anywhere. You can do it from this left corner by the power cell, or just down in the middle. You need to be in line with where that flare is now, whether it's on the wall, probably won't be on the wall, so it will be somewhere in the open right about there, and this is just lining you up for that perfect 45-degree angle in line with all those defenses, dead and alive, and then you can flare in to there. So it's sort of just above the hot pot line, and what we're doing there is trying to avoid this barbed wire. We can't really, well, we don't want to afford a med kit as well as everything else that we're going to throw. This hit is very GBE intensive. So there we go, let's have a look. As we peek around that corner, we're just going to throw one more smoke, wait for the Zukas to round the corner, and then we can flare down into our finishing spot, which is right in between these two defenses. So sort of like 530. And then look at those smokes, perfect, double smoke. You want to do this as quickly as possible. And then once they get into the spot, and we can flare on the core, and they're going to spread a little bit, but they actually stayed super tight. So you can probably do a single smoke in there. I mean, you definitely can. See where his third to last smoke wouldn't have quite covered him over, or maybe would have, but they're super risky. You don't want to lose the delay. I definitely would suggest throwing all of those smokes that he did. We only lost the delay on this left rocket launcher, I believe. Yeah, everything else is facing the middle of the beach, which is standard. And then we're going to see a bunch of critters and shocks being thrown. So here we go. We played at half speed, and you can see the taps going all over the screen as the shock timer, the smoke timer is running out. And we're going to try and pause it at the right time. Got one more shock to come. There we go. I think that's it. So you can see the lasers over the road are very close to being in range. I've seen people pop these, and there might be a laser over here and it's only just in range, and it just ruins your day because all the Zookas are so tightly packed. So definitely keep an eye on that. If they are in range, you may have to shock them, but there's so many shocks going on that you probably won't have time to think about it. So he's managed to shock the Doom Cannon 2 lasers on the right hand side. Pretty standard shock. He's managed to shock these lasers just under him, and he has clipped a few of his Zookas, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We can live with that. If the shock was a little bit further down, it would have been perfect, but because you're throwing so many shocks, you can't be accurate on all of the shocks. This left shock is just taking the flamethrower and 2 flamethrowers and Doom Cannon. Remember, those Doom Cannons are quite ruthless, especially when you're this grouped up. It's not going to take one Zooka. It's going to take like probably 20 in this layout. Then he's taking the hot pot. There is sometimes a hot pot where this cannon is. You are going to have to get that. You can either get both the hot pots in one shock, or you can do something similar to this. So he's got the 2 lasers and the hot pot, which is a great shock. You could get these 2 lasers and the hot pot, which is also a great shock. So you just got to have a look at all of these, have them all planned out super well. And he's also shocked the lasers and Doom Cannons up on the left. These rocket launchers obviously in range, the bottom ones, if you can take out maybe those bottom 2 on the left as well, you won't have to shock them or distract them. If you do have rocket launchers all the way down to join up with this boom cannon, you're definitely going to need critters. You may need another shock. Those critters can either be, I've seen them thrown on this fuel cell, this power cell just over to the left, which will be closer than your Zookas, which is perfect. And it doesn't ruin your delay or doesn't make your any of these lasers fire into you or anything. And it will distract all the rocket launchers. And then you can re-throw that critter 2 more times, so 3 critters in total, and that will probably give you your maximum amount of time on the core. If you get your battle orders off, awesome. You can see 2 touches just ripping some damage right now. He's using, because those lower rocket launchers aren't there, he can use just this critter point just there to distract these rocket launchers getting in between. Obviously don't want to put critters into the dead zone, but want to protect those Zookas from all of those rocket launchers on the left hand side. And there you go, the 3rd critters were only just about useful. If you only have 2 sets of critters, that's fine, you're probably going to get a lot of damage anyway. And there we go, any spare GBE isn't going to be useful anywhere else other than the core, so just smoke it. That's going to do it for the green court hit. Be sure to have a look back through the video, pause it where you need to, count all the GBE that you need to, add anything that's different. You definitely need to map out every shot because all the green courts are different. Sometimes there's some rocket launchers. Sometimes there's a surprise rocket launcher where this cannon is, or lasers and around here. So you just need to be really careful that you've got everything, all the splash damage that's going to be in range, including the Doom Cannons. And just smoke the core with some battle orders for the win. Great hit from 2 Touch. That one was in G Vibe. The guys are doing really well. And give us a comment down below if you do green court if you do green court any differently for the core rush itself. And give us a comment if you give us a thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach. Rah!